Spontaneous speaking video 66. Today's video, as the title states, is going to be on enjoying your own company. And if you've been keeping up with my videos, you'll see that you can pretty much kind of tell like the season that I'm like going through right now. I really hate to use that word season. I feel like it's an overused like Christian term, like, oh, this is your season, stuff like that. But I am going through a season of better learning how to enjoy my own company. I've been continuously having a season of amelioration, self-discovery, better understanding myself and growing, not just as an ENFJ and not even just as a Christian, but just Denzel, Mensah in general. The different nuances of who I am as a apart from everybody else, which is usually difficult because being an ENFJ, FE dominant, I'm always looking for what I have in common with everyone else. I'm always trying to look for like that harmony, like, hey, we all have this in common. But eventually you get to a point where pretty much you just have to face the fact that not that you're better than other people, and not that you're like some type of like special snowflake, but you're just different. Like everybody's different from each other, and some people have the same type of differences, and I just feel like, once again, not that I'm better than anyone and that I'm more special, but there's just certain differences of mine that just are not common, even for other people of my type, and that's just how it is. So I've been learning to, once again, like, just enjoy my own company, and I wanted to just pretty much like give a short, no, sorry, I'm not going to say short because I don't know how long this could be, but you guys get the idea, so I'm just going to hop right into it. The first thing that I'm going to say is, I think I'm actually going to start off with a tweet that I posted the other day, and just give me a moment to find it. There it is. I'm so glad that I can always depend on me to discuss the things I like to discuss for as long as I want to without fear of boring myself. We are always on the same page, and I love it. Pretty much what I was saying is that Denzel is always willing to talk about whatever, watch whatever, do whatever, and etc. that Denzel wants 100% of the time, and I love that. And I just enjoy my own company because it's company that I always know will enjoy my company. So that was pretty much like the gist. And I guess, like, since we're already like going there, I'm gonna go ahead and read off the tweets that I had about my special snowflake syndrome. Pretty much I said, I really make a great deal of effort not to ever come off as one of those annoying people who seem to brag on how misunderstood, y'all know who you are, and stuff they are, because I personally find that to be unnecessary victimization at times. But to be honest, it gets hard not to face the fact when it's true. When you focus so much on what people all have in common and unite over, you avoid any types of special snowflake syndrome. It's actually nauseating to even think myself that way. However, no matter where you go, there you are. And if you have something inside you that is just constantly unable to be met, fed, misunderstood, or appropriately tended to, well, only way to fix it is to acknowledge it. But just for clarification, I do not find myself to be above or better than anyone else, just different than probably 97% of people I've met. And I understand that difference doesn't mean special or prized, just different, LOL. All of that to say that, just like I was saying, I know that Denzel, me, speaking in third person a lot in this, Denzel is always down to do whatever Denzel wants to do. And that's just fact. These are lists of things that Denzel likes all the time, every time, that others may not. Theology discussion. Whenever I want to discuss theology, then Denzel's always ready to discuss theology. Not necessarily that other people do not want to discuss theology with me ever, but it's just that maybe sometimes they want to discuss something else at that time. I want to discuss theology, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, different needs. Then Pokemon discussions or movies. I'm a really big fan of Pokemon. I don't really watch the show anymore, but I like the game and I grew up off of it. And I just understand like other people, they might not like prize it as much, and that's just how they are, And it's once again, it's nothing wrong. It doesn't make them toxic or anything. It's just they're different. But Denzel, me, third person, is always down to discuss Pokemon whenever Denzel is down to discuss Pokemon. And so, same thing with Avatar: The Last Airbender, MBTI. Denzel is always down to freestyle rap whenever he's feeling like freestyle rapping, while other people may not always be. Denzel's into certain types of music that others may not fully prefer. Now, I have friends who are into, like, if I look at my friends holistically, they can be, like, you can find somebody who's into the type of music that I'm listening to, one of the types of music, holistically. However, there's not one person who's into every single facet, every single, like, genre of the music that I like. And once again, that's not a problem, it's just fact. And lastly, even sexual and other taboo topics others would feel uncomfortable with. And that's probably going to be my next video. I've already started thinking about it. Actually, no, it's going to be the video after the next one. That one's going to be called God's Curfew. And I have a really interesting topic on that, taboo stuff. But yeah, Denzel's always down to talk about, some taboo things that other people may not be willing to talk about either at that moment or ever. And that's how it is. One thing that you should know about me is that if I feel like you don't care, I won't share. That's why I have this YouTube channel. I know a lot of people, I said it in a previous video, who they just go around and they promote their channel really, really heavy. They try everything to get people to subscribe. The funny thing is, I avoid telling certain people about my channel. I actually don't even share my channel with a lot of people. And when people do say oh, what's your channel, I actually give them warnings and precautions so that they don't subscribe. Hey, just so you know, my videos run long. Hey, if you have a short attention span, you probably won't really like my channel. Hey, I'm not doing prank videos and stuff. I mean, I have a couple on here, but it's not a vlog or anything. I'm speaking about concepts and ideas and my life and stuff like that. So I understand that I'm not special, once again, but I'm just different. I like to talk about heavy things. I like to talk about big matters, things like that. I have different types of thoughts on life, and not everybody really wants to watch these certain types of videos, and not everybody cares enough, not everybody really cares enough about my thoughts to want to sit down and watch a whole 25-minute long video about me talking about whatever my concepts are or whatever like that. And that's okay. I can't expect everybody to love me and everything. But just like when I started this channel, when I started my spontaneous speaking videos, it was just an outlet for me to release. I always say, like I said in my visionary thinking video, that I'm making videos. It's nice that I'm getting my video viewers, all of y'all who are watching right now and subscribed right now. I love y'all. I really appreciate it. I try to respond to every single comment eventually. Thank you guys for your support and everything. But I just like I said in my visionary thinking video, I'm making videos for people in the future. Maybe even 200 years from now, or pretty much when I'm dead and gone. I know that people are always most inclined to value the person. Oh, well, not if I were to die today, the sad but honest truth is that I know that I'm gonna get probably 5 times more viewers on my channel than I would be getting in the next 5 years. Because that's just how people are. They don't really value you as much until you're gone. And I try not to do that to people, but yeah, that's just how life is. And anyway, so like I said, if I feel like you don't care, I won't share. And that being said, just goes back to everything that I was just saying about Denzel, third person. Denzel always cares about what Denzel has to share. And it sounds funny. It sounds yo, this guy's talking to himself. And yeah, I pretty much am. It's you just know, and I just called it like thinking, but you just know that being with yourself is very valuable because yourself is always happy with with uh, what you have to bring up, with who you are at the time. Unless if you don't like yourself, then we're gonna get to that. But yeah, that's pretty much like what I was saying. Like you can never really know, you can never really have somebody who's always 100% down for whatever you want to talk about, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to say, whatever. Not even my own fiance is that way. And once again, like that's okay. Like I understand. Like she's closer to that than anybody else, of course. But still, there are times where it's like I want to watch this movie, but she wants to watch that movie. There's times where I want to talk about this, but she doesn't feel like talking about this. There's times where I want to make this reference, but she hasn't watched that show or that movie, so she doesn't really know. She's not interested, and there's not a problem with her on that. But I just know that Denzel would be. Hopefully that's making sense so far. Track with me. You can always know 100% that yourself is 100% okay with doing and discussing and watching and listening to what you want for as long as you want and as often as you want. Yourself won't interrupt you. Yourself is so interested in hearing what you have to say that it will wait till you're done speaking, unlike others who may indicate they aren't as interested by changing the topic or interrupting. I think that this is so timely because I wrote these notes actually on Sunday. I wrote these notes on Saturday. I wrote these notes on Saturday, and Monday, yesterday, Personality Hacker released a new podcast called "Being a Good Listener," How to Be a Good Listener. And a lot of what I was like thinking about on Saturday as I was writing these notes, they mentioned. And pretty much like what I'm saying over here is that like like there's things that just indicate if you're a good listener. Like the person won't interrupt you. The person, and not only will they just like sit there and be like but they'll ask questions to show like, okay, like, so just to clarify, like, you're saying this that, okay, got you, well then how do you feel about this, and it's further deepening conversation, it's further deepening discussion. However, if the person doesn't really care that much about what you have to say, or even you, now that doesn't mean that they don't care about you at all, or about what you have to say at all, but if they don't care enough, in my opinion, I feel like that's when you usually have the people who like just interrupt you, and they don't really want to like say much, like they don't have much to like input on that. Like there's been times where like I would like say like a whole spiel or something, and it's not like I'd like to think that I don't ever really just sit down and babble senseless stuff, because it takes energy to say things. And I don't just like I said, if I feel like you don't care, I won't share. So if I'm actually like perceived as someone who talks a lot to you, that probably means because I think that you value what I'm saying and that you like me. And like, because I'm perceived by quite a few people, shocker, as very quiet. Even the video that I posted with Angelica and Alex, it's funny because Alex thought I was an introvert, and he probably would still assume that. But as soon as I turned on the camera for that video, then I went from 0 to 100. But the whole weekend, I actually, believe it or not, said the least words out of all three of them. This is really annoying. But yeah, and it's not like like I was bitter or anything, but there were just and it's not to like bash them, but there were just times when it's like I would probably say something, and like I would say some thoughts here and there about certain things, and it's just like, this is how it felt like to me. It was like, oh, okay, so do y'all want to practice this piece, or like, oh, cool, like stuff like that. And even times where like a question would be like asked, and I didn't get the chance to answer it, and it seemed like like I didn't really like I wasn't asked again, like, hey, you didn't answer, and if I just feel like if you really care about what I care enough about what I have to say, or if you really care enough about what anybody has to say, then you'll acknowledge like, oh, you didn't answer, because I was like looking forward to your answer. And once again, that doesn't like mean like I had a problem with them at all. That's just like one example. I'm sure they probably like they probably feel that way like with other people as well. But all I'm saying is that when you're with yourself won't interrupt you. Yourself is a good listener to you. Yourself loves your thoughts. Yourself sits down and is like, oh, that's what you're thinking? Oh, cool. Well, what about this? What about that? Like, literally, you being with yourself is allowing you to further value yourself and even know yourself and better yourself, which goes to the next thing that I was going to say. You must love yourself, though, because if you don't like you, how do you expect others to like you? And this goes back to pretty much the thumbnail of this video. So that's a picture actually that I took back in Germany. You see a Burger King in the background and all of that. And I used this app that was pretty popular at the time with my iPad. It was in 2012, and it was called Split Cam. And so I took a picture of me having a conversation with myself. And pretty much the thing that I posted with it was, if you don't even enjoy spending time with yourself, how can you expect others to enjoy spending time with you? And to elaborate on that, many of us avoid alone time because we unfortunately dislike ourselves. We hate to be alone with our minds, let alone figure out how to better ourselves in that fashion because of this. If that's you, this is your sign to stop. There are no perfect beings. Well, except Jesus, but you get my point. We all have room to grow. However, until we accept we have flaws and make effort to identify and work on them, we will always drown ourselves in the presence of others. And those flaws will eventually surface and embarrass you. Let's learn to enjoy our time with ourselves, love ourselves enough, and love ourselves enough to better ourselves. Then others will be able to love us more as well. So that was my 2 cents, and I think that was like mainly linked to my slaying your dragons, exploring your darkness and slaying your dragons video. So once again, all of my videos are just like linked to each other because I just further go deeper in thought and observe my own mind. But to wrap this video up, what I've been saying, once again, just all goes up to the title. If I wanted to summarize everything that I've just said, it's pretty much, as usual, like what I talk about, enjoy your own company. Enjoy being able to sit down with your own mind. Don't try and run away from yourself, because wherever you go, there you are. If you're taking a shower, there's people who take showers, and I said this in my shower portals video. There's people who will take showers, and they refuse to just sit there with their mind. Like, that's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe even 15 minutes in the shower. Just be to yourself, you know? And there's nothing wrong with playing music, but if it's like something that you just keep on rushing to, I feel like that could be a problem. That could be a sign that you're running away from yourself. You don't want to spend time in your own mind, exploring your own garden in your head. And I love doing that. And I've always seemingly loved doing that from what I can remember, but now I love doing it more than ever, especially knowing that, once again, at the end of the day, this isn't to say like everyone is fake, but only you have your back the way that you have your back. As in, there are always loyal people out there. I believe that my fiance is extremely loyal. David is extremely loyal. Bethany is extremely loyal. You know, my younger sister, Dante, is extremely loyal. However, I know that Dante, there's lots of movies that I recommend to her that she's like, nah. It's like, okay, nothing wrong with that. David, there's shows that I recommend to him. He's like, it was kind of slow. Nah. Okay, that's cool. You know, that's fine. There's certain songs that I can recommend to Bethany or Jamila or something, and even if they listen, it's like, okay, you know, that's cool. They wouldn't appreciate it the same way that I would. And the same thing can all be reversed with them. It's not a bad thing. It's just that knowing that only you will love everything about you or only you will love everything that you love, as in holistically, does wonders. It takes off pressure from other people, and it allows you to better just love yourself and enjoy yourself and enjoying your own company. So even today and yesterday, and pretty much a lot of days this summer actually, I've just been spending time by myself. I don't see Jamila like that often. She's been nannying, and so she's actually like always like busy like with changing diapers and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, that's cool. My roommates are always out at work. I work at home because life coaching plus working with Heidi and everything. So it's like, okay, so I'm usually like, just like like by myself in the apartment, and it's like, oh my gosh, an extrovert, like being by themselves, like that's crazy. But I don't always enjoy it because there are times where I want to just go out and like have fun, but at the same time it's like, yeah, I do enjoy it a lot of times because now I don't have to cater to anybody else. I can eat what I want to eat. I can watch what I want to watch. I can do what I want to do. I can talk about what I want to talk about or think about what I want to think about. And I don't have to think how it's going to influence or affect anybody else. I can just do that with myself. I don't have to think if it's going to bore other people because I'm never bored with what I want to do. Like Denzel, third person, is never bored with what Denzel, me, wants to talk about, discuss about, think about, all of that. So I feel like at this point I'm beating a dead horse. But let me know what you guys think. This is still like following like a little like chain. Like the next video is gonna be on emotional security nets. I think emotional safety nets. And then the video after that is gonna be on God's curfew, and it's all gonna be like linked up. So like I'm building on something over here, and I want you guys to continue to follow that, and leave your comments for discussion on this. Tell me what you guys think about it. Tell me if you guys relate, things like that. And like always, let's have a discussion. I'll be reading your thoughts and responding to them. So yeah, thanks for listening to me, guys, and hopefully I didn't ramble off too much. Done.